Hello and welcome to this week's roundup of quite interesting tech news from the world of cycling, which this week includes the brand new aero bike from Factor, which might just be the ugliest bike launched this year. But looks aside, it might just redefine what an aero bike should be in 2026, and leads into this week's topic of whether we should be able to buy the bikes the pros are racing and which these bikes are designed for, or whether they should be separate. And then news from Zipp, and a patent suggests they might be working on a brand new full carbon fiber wheel set. And in safety news, BBB has a brand new radar rear light with a speaker built into it, and then some actual advice on how to ride far and fast from somebody who is very good at riding far and fast. So let's dive in. Is this the ugliest bike of 2025? I definitely hope it isn't the future of road bikes, as some people are boldly calling it. So Factor unveiled its brand new aero race bike, the One, the other day, and the internet went into a meltdown. Pretty predictable given how it looks and some of the marketing claims it comes with. It's an attempt by Factor to make the fastest bike within the current UCI rules, and appears to borrow the forks from the Hope Lotus track bike, the handlebars from the Carnago Y1 RS, and a back end, the seat tube and seat post from a Cervelo S5. Talk about cut and shut. And pretty is not, to my eyes at least. I reckon it could be the ugliest bike of the year and possibly next year. Sorry Factor, nothing personal. But joking aside, it's great to see companies pushing the limits and the boundaries of what's possible, and this bike clearly isn't an attempt to make a do-it-all aero bike like a tarmac. It's a bike built clearly for speed. And when it comes to speed, the company is claiming, their claims not mine, that the bike is 22% more aero than a tarmac S8 and 8% more aero than their own Ostro van. Pinch of salt people, pinch of salt. Now, Cycling News have done a wind tunnel test with the bike and against other bikes found it fastest in their testing with no rider on the bike. But with a rider, a fleshy body on the bike, it was beaten by a Cervelo S5 by about that much. That bike is worth adding, had a one-by drivetrain on it, so that might account for a small difference between the two bikes, but clearly a quick bike in their testing, but not the quickest in their testing. Crazy aero claims to one side, the progressive geometry of the bike is definitely interesting and designed the way pros are now riding the bikes and setting the bikes up. Very forward over the BB, short cranks, long stems and narrow handlebars. And it's similar to the Ridley No Fast I recently reviewed, linked to that above in case you missed it. And that bike clearly in my testing very fast in a straight line and definitely held its speed well. But I found the bike hard work on the climb due to heavy weights and not much fun in the corners either. And I do fear the Factor could be the same. Basically a time trial bike with drop handlebars, which is sort of the direction they're going in. So fantastic if you're on the front of the peloton, tasked with doing 400 watts for the day, or in a breakaway, but not much fun riding around your local roads at much lower speeds and power output, or bashing around Richmond Park on a Saturday morning. And besides, who can afford a bike anyway? Because it's nearly £7,000 for a frame module and almost £13,000 for a SRAM red AXA group set with a power meter. Ouch indeed. The launch of the brand new Factor One does raise an interesting question for me, and hopefully interesting for you too, which is, should we be able to buy race bikes like this at all? You can't buy an F1 car, for example, nor would you want to. Of course, one of the appeals of cycling is the fact you can buy the exact same bike as the pros ride around the Tour de France, which is awesome, it has to be said. But it means brands are developing bikes for the pros, like the Factor One, which is definitely the case here, but then trying to add marketing to the bike to sell it to us regular folk to try and justify the performance of the bike and why it's better than other bikes and why we should rush out and buy this bike. And it's clear from quite a lot of backlash that a lot of people don't want this bike, and some people are even offended by the bike because of the weight, the price, the looks, etc. It's an expensive bike, it's heavy, it's not a do-it-all aero bike like a tarmac. I doubt it handles very nicely at all, and comfort is most likely compromised. But if you or I couldn't buy it, there'd be no marketing to go with the bike at all. No claims around how aero is compared to the other ones. The brand wouldn't have to explain how they made it faster or how fast they claim it to be. Just like how Red Bull or McLaren won't share secrets of their new F1 cars with other teams or the public or us. They don't have to justify what they've done, they just have to make the fastest car they can. So bike brands could operate in the same way. They can make the fastest possible bikes for the pros they sponsor and not have to worry about trying to justify how fast it is and why it's done this or that and come out with claims around how aero it is compared to other rivals. Just focus on making the fastest bike and leave us to wonder how they've made it faster and how it stacks up against other bikes, and go a step further and relax some of the UCI rules around the bikes, the shape, the aero restraints, and really let them go wild with crazy F1 style race bikes and not worry about them selling on a Monday morning to us regular mere mortals. And by separating bikes for pros and bikes for us regular folk could benefit us all. The pros get the mad futuristic aero race bikes with the geometries they need for the riding racing they actually do. And we get bikes that actually suit the riding we do, which is not the same as what the pros do. And there'll be less compromise in the design for the pros and us enthusiasts. Yes, Tarmacs and Super 6 Evos, they're all fantastic bikes for the pros, but do we actually need a bike like that for the riding we do? Probably not. And I think there are bike brands that are showing there is an alternative way, not giving up the speed and performance, but offering more comfort and more usability for the real world riding on regular roads at low levels of fitness and speeds we do. So let me know your thoughts on the topic of whether pro bikes like the Factor 1 should be available to buy at all, or whether this is holding back the pro bikes from being as pro and fast as they could be. Now, here's an interesting story because it looks like Zipp could be cooking up some brand new carbon fiber wheels. I discovered this patent the other day, dated May the 8th, 2025, and it shows an intriguing wheel design that doesn't exist in the company's range right now. The drawings show a design that is similar in essence to the iconic lightweight wheels from Germany and the early 2000s, wherein the spokes are bonded to the hub flange to form a single piece. But the Zipp wheels are quite different in the spokes and the flange are formed as one piece, and that flange attaches to the hub shell, and the spokes at the rim meanwhile are held in place with internal nipples, so they're invisible, unlike the lightweight wheels where the spokes are bonded to the rims. So kind of similar to the lightweight wheels in terms of how the spokes are carbon fiber and go across the hub flange area, but quite different in how they go into the rims. So that design might give more adjustability, more flexibility in the design, make it easier to replace a broken rim, which you can't do with a lightweight very easily. They go back to the factory for repairs or replacement. And we saw Syncross launch a similar version of wheels to the lightweight last year, which is that similar sort of full carbon fiber construction. So this technology is sort of coming back, and if Zipp is doing a modern version of it, it would be really interesting to see what they actually do. If that patent is to be believed and isn't just a red herring, as there are many patents logged by bike brands that never actually see the light of day. Carbon spokes are all the rage right now because they're lighter than metal spokes, and Zipp doesn't yet have a wheel set with carbon spokes. So this could be the company's bold attempt to do something similar, but quite different. The other benefit of such a wheel design could be weight. Those Syncross wheels are just over 1100 grams. So it could be a bold way with Zipp to launch a full carbon fiber wheel set that's stiff and very, very lightweight. And yes, it looks like the rims are hookless. No change there then. Car detecting radar rear lights are very popular with many people for an early warning system. But one thing they all rely on is being paired to a bike computer, your Garmin or Wahoo, for the data from that radar to be relayed to you by a visual cue on the computer or an audible signal. So it's interesting to see this new offering from BBB that has a built-in speaker to alert you to approaching cars, so you don't have to have it hooked up to a compatible bike computer. You can still do that if you want though, for extra data like that visual cue on the computer, but you don't have a bike computer. And lots of people don't use Garmin's or Wahoos, they might use a smartphone on the handlebars, and this could be the ideal product for them. So I reckon there's probably a sizable market for people who want the benefits of the radar technology of an early warning system, but don't have a computer it can work with. Or if you're commuting, you're jumping on a folding bike, a line bike, you can put that on the bike and have that benefit of a radar rear light and early detection warning system without putting your Garmin or Wahoo on there. Probably quite a small market though. Let me know what you think by dropping a comment down below. Is it a genius product? or not. The new signal light has a 190-meter claimed range and can detect up to 8 vehicles at a time, and it's available now and costs £120. And lastly, some advice on how to ride far and fast, but not from me, but from Sarah Ruggins. She broke the Land's End John O'Groat double record earlier this year, breaking the men's record as well as the women's record called Joggle Jog. And last week, she shared some insights into that challenge, the preparation and what it took for her to do it, and some of her background in cycling leading up to that challenge in a talk at my local bike shop, Ride 24/7. And that talk is now available on YouTube, link down below in case you missed it, and definitely worth a watch. And there we go. Thanks so much for joining me in this week's roundup of quite interesting tech news. Let me know what you think of the topics by dropping a comment down below. And of course, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below to support the channel and videos like this, which cost you nothing to watch. And if you haven't yet seen my video or my first impressions of the brand new Campag Super Record 13 group set and how it actually performs in my real world testing so far, just first impressions, watch this video right up here. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon.